In about 2 minutes. Yeah. Sure. Sorry? So we have enough time to do their match and okay. Okay, sounds good. Just pulling it up now. So it's online, Brian. All right. All right, 10 seconds.
Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, your mic.
Hello everybody and welcome back for our top 3 of Street Fighter V here at the MEsports MeetUp. Everybody, I'm John the Batman Hat and I'm back here again with the mayonnaise to bring you guys the fantastic, stunning action here. And for our first match, we actually have a returning face. You might recognize Triple L Lightning from our Tekken bracket. Well, he's here. He's back in winners final. He's going up against online Brian. Now, this is a match for the century. I'm not gonna lie, these two have played a lot. Like Brian tends to have the edge for the most part, and really what it comes down to is Levi plays this kind of mid-range zoning game with Birdie where he's kind of willing to make reads, kind of go for the dolphin occasionally, and Brian plays this really like infuriating Karen style where he slowly walks you down, walks back, and tries to just always force the whip out of you and get the button press on it. And the minute he realizes you're not willing to bite, that's when he'll go in, he'll get his block pressure, and just slowly work you towards the corner.
A classic footsies game.
Yes, and he also is very, very willing to commit to, like, say, a DP or an interrupt if he does have kind of a lead on you where he has that feeling inside of him. So sometimes people look over and say, Brian, why'd you do that?
Do that.
But it hit, and then he gets some corner control, and you're like, well, I can't be mad. I guess it worked.
I guess we're about to see offline Brian today then.
Yes, true. It's an interesting mechanic kind of between the Birdie and the Karen matchup here. Of course, like Birdie does have longer range normals, but a lot of them do have very kind of just, there's a lot of recovery on them. So if Karen is able to whiff punish, she can get a lot of pressure off of that, and Birdie's close range options are good. You guys are good. Close range options aren't quite as potent as Karen, so you can challenge in a lot of situations and kind of like run the Birdie down. So Birdie's really just trying to keep you outside of like kind of his max normals range, and then start rushing you down maybe when the V trigger is activated because it gives him armor and access to a lot of other ways to kind of play neutral, or he's trying to go for like command grab moves.
I believe I did watch these two play in pools as well, so I think they've kind of got a feeling for how each other are going to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these two have played like a lot in the past too. Both are the quintessential top 8ers from our scene. Like these guys tend to make up top 4 like very, very frequently, with Brian taking a lot of our tournaments overall. Though I know he hasn't been playing quite as much because life's been a bit busy, but you see here early, he's very, very good at getting his block punishment. And I think we're going to early see just what I mean by like where he just slowly approaches. He's playing right outside of that Birdie medium range, and he's looking for the swift punish.
Command grabs.
But actually, Levi doing a great job of kind of just playing this right way, that it's just like, he's able to punish from this. But you see, he finally gets his sweep, but the interrupt here.
Nice, invincible.
So a big thing Levi likes to do in his gameplay is like, once he does get the meter, he's very willing to commit it into the armor normal to get him in. Now, Brian knows that that is not positive, and you can punish during that. And this is when I see the offensive flurry, and to come out here from Karen.
Amazing combo coming out there.
Great V-trigger activation.
A little butt scratch there from Birdie. Getting ready.
Of course, you gotta get ready for the fight. You see, yeah, this match is going to be this most of the time. It's going to be Brian looking for his way in. You see just how comfortable he is with the birdie matchup here. He's recognizing when he can punish, and he's not letting Levi get away with anything, just kind of like, read.
Hearing that online Brian name. Oh,
Ooh, there we go, though. And this is how you can be a little bit potent against Brian as well, because he is holding forward for a little bit. When you have these forward advancing moves, they're very, very good, and he can't interrupt them, obviously, because they are armored. So it does allow Birdie to kind of get in, get a lot of damage. And Karen, one of the lower health characters in this game, so she does kind of explode under the V-trigger damage. And he's going to have control of the wall here, too. Really just needs kind of one major interaction to get out of this to trade. And now Levi is looking very, very comfortable here. Punish on the sweep, doesn't get more.
Nice hand grab.
Yeah, nice little tick throw off of that. You see, like when Levi is able to kind of play this mid-range game, he's playing a very, very good game. But it's kind of come down to a win condition. The minute he gets 1 meter at V-trigger, it's kind of when he's just been so dangerous. Nice whiff punish there with the light kick. Ooh, there, anti-air comes down, jumps out of the chain. Ooh, crush counter. He's going to get a lot of carry off of that. Throw, and now Brian does have slight control of the wall here. You see what I mean? He slowly walks up because he's just trying to beat out these long-range normals.
So patient. And grab again.
And now he's got the V-trigger set up as well. Okay, see, this is what I mean. Like he's realized now that he's not willing to press, so he's going for staggered pressure here with the crouching medium punches. Where all of those are acting as a reset. These are moments where he can interrupt, and the armored move comes down here. And Brian looking for his opportunity, looking to get the hit, but no, Levi's having another hit. Yeah, there it is, and he actually hits through the 2 hits of the armor. That was a fantastic option. Now Brian has all the meter in the world. He can use it for moon options. He can use it to cash out. And no, it is all denied by the crouching medium punch on that.
Great denial there. Great denial. I'm sure we'll see more of this, but I just love the absolute patience.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll see more of this, but I just love the absolute patience we see from Brian there. You can see just him like waiting for the greatest opportunity to get in there and give off his damage.
Oh, exactly. And that's the thing, is he's slowly approaching, but Levi's doing a great job of just playing the zoning game, using a lot of preemptive normals to just kind of stifle this approach that he has. But this is particularly what Brian's kind of trying to bait out, right? And the minute Brian is kind of able to just start whiff punishing these a lot better than he has been, I think we're going to see a very drastic change in the game.
Great anti-air there.
But Brian has done a good job of recognizing when Levi kind of wants to turn on the offensive switch, and has done a good job of punishing it. But has been struggling to kind of get into these mid-range things. Levi's not letting any of his moves whiff, or they're going unwhiff punished. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the charge up gives you a decent amount of time to get into that. Now the activation, now the challenge here from Levi, very dangerous.
Ooh. Again, waiting for his opportunity to just snipe in there. Round 2, baby.
Kind of just zoning each other out here. Oh, it's a sweep. Now this is
grab.
This is all Brian wants here. He's got the neutral game here, but now we're kind of back to this range. Oh, there it is. This is the first with punish. Just hit kind of that nature, and he has control of the wall. Oh, hit confirm on the counter hit him light kick. Fantastic. Oh, tick throw.
Into the corner now.
Yeah, one more hit for stun,
pressure.
And that actually acts as a frame trap in that situation. Perfect Keiko comes down, and you see when Brian is able to get his hit, what he's able to turn it into is absolutely terrifying. It's going to be down to kind of Levi to just kind of stifle down and just keep that mid-range locked down, because this is where he's doing well. But Brian is starting to his whip punishes, and he's coming online as a result.
We're all tied up now as we move into the 3rd match. Yes, my math checks out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You've done the math. I'm proud of you.
It's all in there.
They're switching a switch back here. I'm going to see a character switch potentially from it. I think a V-trigger switch. Ooh, he's going into V-trigger 1. So the chewing time is going to give him access to bubblegum, which lets him actually further double down on the zoning game. Because with the range Brian's been playing, it hasn't allowed him to like throw out the food that Birdie's well known for.
I believe I remember the situation in their pools match as well, where Lightning switched the bubblegum and absolutely made full use out of it.
Yeah, but it's hard to get out. It's punishable at every age, right?
Yeah, the chains really weren't amounting to too much in the last game because Brian did not punish them and he wasn't letting himself really get in. So I think the switch into the bubblegum is a good idea. Because the V-trigger 1 is going to give him more just armored moves and more approach tools. Oh, anti-air.
Anti-air.
Okay, you see it. Oh, Levi's doing a fantastic job of just playing around his game. This is where the chewing gum comes in, and it does let him get V-trigger a lot faster as well, because he can just kind of chew bubble gum in the times in between pressure.
Chew it in your face.
Oh, nice throw.
Another command grab.
Oh, interrupt. Oh, but the reset. Yeah, that's +1. +1 on block, and Brian was willing to challenge on that with the 5 frame. Turns it into a lot more. Does he get a conversion on that? Overhead? Oh. Conversion, dirty man.
So
They're explaining the tech to each other mid-match too.
Yeah.
Oh, I love to see it. I love to see it.
That's what it's all about.
Oh my God, it's reactable. One likes to joke about that being the unblockable because it is difficult to react to, but. And you see, yeah, just Levi playing. It's just good mid-range game, but Brian manages to find his way in with the B skill. Little back swing, gets the punish, and now he has control of the corner here. Levi has struggled to get out of here historically. Yeah, punish here from Brian.
Using his meter there.
And he just needs one more hit to stun. That's all it is. You see, he's just keeping the pressure on here. He's unrelenting, and Brian trying to get through, but the crush counter lands here from Levi, and he's looking so close to V-trigger as well. No, it misses! Oh, it would have hit too! Activation that keeps it going on here. Command grabs immediately, and that is going to give him Oki here, but challenge from Brian! What an absolute monster. Crouching light punch, and that has put him up in the round count. But the switch over to V-Trigger 1 already looking to wield a little bit better results than the last one. Most of the activations for him in the previous rounds would just get punished.
That was so close. He was so close to tasting victory there for that nice and sweet comeback.
Yeah, Brian looking to take the game here, catch his place into grand finals. It's gonna be down to see if like a lightning can make it back in here. Oh, out of range. You actually can't do instant Tenko for that combo. This is the one character I know a lot of tech about. It's a Carol.
A throw.
Yeah, ooh. I do like the range Brian's playing around because he's really realized that Levi's leaning into the crushing medium punch. So he's standing outside of it, but that does open him up the dolphin dives.
It hits finally.
Oh my God, so many whiffs and so little punishes. Yeah, but Levi doing a good job playing around his ranges, the crush counter, because he is so far out, the only thing he could have done was V-trigger. Unfortunately, does not, V-skill. Oh, Bubblegum! Hubba Bubba sponsored him today, but looks like he's gonna need another Bubblegum sponsorship to escape from the corner here.
Throw.
Yeah, that's +1, yep,
throw.
into the reset. You can interrupt that with a jab. Oh my God, he just lets it rip. Now he did have V-trigger, that's why he just let that rip, because he could have activated it to keep it safe. So good approach tool and enacted as a call out there.
And now online Brian has way more meter.
I know, and Karen very, very effective at spending that as well. Can get one of these whip punishes here, and we're seeing the meter going to be spent already now. That's a fortunate little whiff on there, but the counter hit is going to lead to a max damage corner combo, but no, looking to save the meter, which I think is a good idea because it's going to put him guaranteed into stun range if he's able to land the hit. Now,
Brian,
just walks up the
Brian
throws.
loving these throws.
I mean, yeah, they are working out for him. The V-trigger activation here from Levi, though. And he's looking to maybe turn this potentially into more. Oh my God, what a beautiful hit confirm on that. And just one more hit is all Brian needs. Throw escape here from here, but no, the whiff punish with the standing medium kick. Keep it easy. And Brian has tied up the rounds 1-1 apiece, is looking to take it home and send Levi down into losers. Levi looking to keep it up and see if he can tie up our set 2-2 apiece. That's a challenge here. Now Levi does have corner control. This is the first time he's had this in a long time, but Brian has managed to escape. Nice. Oh, he doesn't confirm that into more. That was such an unfortunate drop. He had 2 bars to spend there, but does do the EX send how to get the anti-air. Oh my God, he actually, that was so sick. He confirmed. Yeah, well, he confirmed that after the armor hit so he could burn through it because it's only 1 hit of armor.
Trigger activation.
Oh, it's unblockable, baby. Oh my God, he just DP'd in his face. Oh, maximum disrespect. This man DP'd on his wake up. And that has put him up on the board here in absolutely stunning fashion. And we're looking at potentially 1 game away from one of these 2 gentlemen going on to grand finals.
Lightning's hungry for it. I can feel it in the air.
Wow, what indicated you that? I'm unsure. Was it the giant donut?
That might have been the donut. It might have been the bubblegum.
Oh, yes. Oh, the sweep goes in the favor of Brian, though. That allows him to get the Oki. Now he's playing around his mid-range. He's looking for his whip punishes there. Doesn't quite manage to get it in time, but nice hit confirmed from Levi.
Anti-air.
Heavy skill from out here range. You see they're both just looking for the hit, and there it is, hit confirmed, but doesn't manage to get it here, but just goes into the overhit anyway. Finds home, but no.
Nice
He's
throw.
had enough of this. Back throw is gonna reverse him into there, but he just jumps out. He gets out scot-free. Brian does not care today. Oh, reset doesn't get more with punish. Oh my God, so many drop combos.
God.
And Brian comes out on the end of that, but armor gonna come down, activation. Oh, and we have one
So
more
much
interactions,
damage.
all he needs. Oh my God, that's a punish! Boom, baby, and he spends all of it, but what a beautiful way to punish on that. Levi's so confident he can reset into something more, but Brian does not.
What a fantastic way to finish that round. Online Brian with the critical art.
Now that does mean he is down heavily on meter this time, so Levi's going into the next round, and it's already paying dividends as we get the bubble
full
gum out,
advantage of that.
but it just does not matter when you're that far away. He's kind of walking into the corner again, crush counter. And now Levi has control of the corner here potentially, but no, Brian's been able to escape from almost every situation here with jumps or well-placed normals. Oh my God, that brought him back down to earth.
Nice anti-air there. Feature activation.
Oh, nice whip punish. Yeah, he's pressuring on. Now the bubblegum allows him to keep him in the corner here. Now he needs to let Brian escape. Every other time he's just escaped from the corner. Scott, oh my God, that only hits you if you're standing.
What a grab!
That only hits you if you're standing. Brian fully bets it on that. And he's taking it 3-2 over Triple L Lightning. And he's secured his ticket into grand finals.
That was a fantastic way to finish it, in my opinion, from Online Brian.
I think so.
GG's all around.
You're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah, no, what a beautiful match there so far. All right, well, it looks like that's all we have time for today, unfortunately. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our Street Fighter stream. And I, of course, was John the Batman Hat. You guys can follow me on Twitter at BatmanHat_cats. Wes is there. Let's give yourself a little shout out here.
I'm Lemayonnaise. I'm new to this, so I got no social media so far, but, you know, thanks for having me, John.
No worries. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you all for watching. We got some more banger content coming up, so take care, everybody. Woo.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you for waiting as we set up for our interview featuring a very special guest. My first time getting to interview and meet him. We are currently joined by Zach McKay, who is a marketing intern over with the Vancouver Titans. Zach, how are you doing today? Oh, Zach, can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, it just came through now.
Okay.
Hey.
Awesome. Hey, Zach, how,
Yeah.
I just gave you a little intro. I was just asking, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Enjoying the long weekend here and happy to talk today about some esports.
Love it. Love it. So I currently we're in Edmonton at NorQuest College. We do these meetups once a month at the moment. And I believe you are in Vancouver. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm out here on the West Coast.
Beautiful, great. So out there in Vancouver, I've got a few questions I want to run by you, of course. Most of them relating to what you're up to with the Vancouver Titans and kind of spreading some news and helping other people learn more about how to get into this industry and to do more in the esports world. The second thing I want to talk about, and actually where I'd like to start, is just about you. Zach, if you could share with us, how exactly did you get involved in esports? What was that, was there a turning point or a moment where you realized this is something you really want to invest your time and energy in?
Definitely. So yeah, for me, playing games has always been a part of my life since I was little. I had older cousins who would sort of introduce me to these online games like Warcraft 3, StarCraft when I was, a really little kid. And from there, I kind of gained a love and appreciation for online gaming communities. And that carried over into when I started university at the University of British Columbia, and I found out about their esports club that they had on campus. And so I joined up when I was in my first year and actually got the chance to meet a player who was competing in the League of Legends Championship Series at the time, visiting Vancouver. And that was a really big moment for me, kind of being starstruck. And I decided that I wanted to get involved as a leader of some kind to, sort of be involved with the esports industry and hopefully make it a career path that I could go down. And that's sort of where it's all started for me.
Wow, so you mentioned a few game titles more popular from the early 2000s and mid 2000s. I heard Warcraft 3 and StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
So Warcraft 3, were you ever into Dota? Like within the use map settings side of things in Warcraft?
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit. Being still, not even in high school yet at that point, though I wasn't super familiar with all sort of the custom map community at that time. But as I sort of got older and then eventually adopted League of Legends as my main game to play, certainly the MOBA community was a big impact for me.
Love it, love it. It's something that I used to play a lot too. StarCraft, Brood War specifically, and also Warcraft 3. Eventually getting more into Dota within Warcraft 3 before League of Legends was out. But yeah, so you've been an avid gamer for how long? Majority of your life? Would that be fair?
Definitely, yeah, more than half for sure.
It is such an interesting industry, especially in Canada here. It's so young and it's thriving, it's growing. I'd love to learn more and share some insight with our viewers and our audience about what you do with the Vancouver Titans. So could you tell us a bit more about your role there as a marketing intern?
Absolutely, yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm currently a marketing intern working for the Vancouver Titans as well as the Seattle Surge, so both of the sort of esports properties that the Canuck Sports Entertainment owns, I work for. Um, Started back in September of 2022, so just into my 8th month now of being on the team, helping support with sort of the behind the scenes of everything that goes on. So I've done everything basically from, helping develop new content ideas for us to shoot, to being a production assistant when we have content shoot days, and even running community events, whether they be in person or stuff that's online, for the Titans and Surge community. So definitely a very wide base of things that I've been able to take part in, but a lot of it sort of has carried over from my time at university as well, thankfully.
University. So you mentioned University of British Columbia, UBC. Have you graduated already?
Yeah, back in May I graduated.
Oh, very, so just about a year ago.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So when you went to UBC, did you have any idea that you'd be entering the world of esports as kind of a career path? Is that still trying to be figured out? Like where does that future look like for you?
Yeah, so I can very confidently say when I first entered UBC back in 2017, esports as a career was kind of a pipe dream for me. I mentioned having loved games for a long time, but I didn't know where exactly to start in getting involved with, the esports teams, organizations, the publishers. But after joining the UBC Esports Association, that was a big turning point for me where I kind of realized like, hey, this is the road to be on if I want to work for a team like the Vancouver Titans someday. And so by the time that I was in about third year, I would say, it had become a goal of mine to sort of position myself to enter the esports industry as my career after university. And so sort of work towards that over the next 2 years, to continue to where I am today.
It's really interesting to hear, because I'm similar to you. I actually did not know that this would be the path I go down professionally until later in my career. We're both relatively young though. Like we're not trying to say that we're some seniors that know everything. That's definitely not the case for either of us. But it just wasn't on my radar when I was in high school or in my early 20s even. But I did play a lot of video games. So
That's where it starts, I think, for us, people like us.
it's a passion-driven industry right now, and I really hope it stays that way. So with the Vancouver Titans, I've got we don't have a lot of official teams out here on the within the Canadian borders. Can you give us some insight on what day-to-day type of work you end up doing to support your marketing department?
Definitely, yeah. So for a little bit of extra context, everything that is covered sort of behind the scenes for the Titans is just about, I would say, a dozen people total. So we're a very small team, very close knit, and we tend to, spend our time working very closely to whatever project we have going on. So, for example, on a Monday, it might have us sort of spending some extra time with the players to shoot a TikTok content for them, and then later on in the same day, you're collecting the email addresses for the winners of a Seattle Surge contest giveaway that just happened. So there's a lot of things that are sort of community focused. So whether it be, interacting with people on Twitter who are, replying to the tweets that we put out, or, planning events for people to go to. But there's also a lot of stuff which has to do with sort of making sure that the team has what it needs to sort of succeed. So looking after the facility that they have, just making sure that everything's in order, and supporting sort of the team staff as well, is sort of comes with the job of being behind the scenes in an esports team. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny to me because there's so many things that happen behind the scenes that nobody knows about, and they just think it gets done by itself. And I'm guilty of it. I use a smartphone and I have no idea what's going on behind an app. I don't have any clue how many people and how many minds are behind the work that actually goes into coding and making sure that these apps are working properly. In the same way, you've got an esports team, and the players are busy in the competitive landscape of their game titles. But then what about the entire business that supports these players? And you're part of that with the Titans. So it's nice to be able to share and shed more insight on what goes on behind the scenes. Just as you mentioned, behind the scenes, there's so many things that you do on a day-to-day basis, from dealing with pricing and making sure those get delivered, or social media content that it's a human. There's always that human touch going on behind it. What have you, before you had your role over at with the Titans as a marketing intern, what other directions or paths did you consider within the esports industry?
So there's a couple things that I sort of had thought of when I, was around the time of graduation last year. One was looking into sort of a role on the university, sort of collegiate level of esports.
Yep.
There was nothing specific in place at UBC, but I know Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, as well as other schools across Canada, have started to take leaps and bounds towards, varsity programs in esports. And so having involvement somewhere there is something that I looked at as well, having given my university background as a student, as well as sort of other options for teams that were looking for help, sort of in a marketing or external sponsorship capacity, because those were the two things that I really focused on in university. So, I sort of had my eyes set on a few different options, but definitely the idea of staying in Vancouver and working with the Titans appealed to me greatly when I was initially coming out of school.
Yeah, there's a lot of paths that can be taken. Surprisingly, they're not obvious though. Like, I think a lot of the roles or job opportunities they mimic event management. They mimic traditional sports franchise models, where in order to run one big event, a lot of people and a lot of jobs are required to support the success of those events. And then you go off season, or maybe there aren't a lot of tournaments happening, but the business continues moving forward anyways. With that in mind, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years, 7 years? What direction do you want to take things in?
So I have a lot of sort of goals for myself in my career working in esports. A lot of it is driven by just the sheer passion that I have for gaming. Um, and so one of those things, definitely for me, would be to lead and sort of event manage, something large like the LCS finals, for example, that's happening this weekend down in North Carolina. I've really sort of enjoyed putting together big projects when I was in university, and even as a marketing intern here at the Titans. So if there's opportunities for me to sort of do that on a large scale and be involved in the stuff that, first got me excited as a fan when I was 13, 14 years old watching Twitch, I would love to do that sort of thing. And definitely as well, just continuing to make myself more knowledgeable in, areas of marketing and sort of running an esports organization. There's lots of options, I think, on the table for where I could go in the next 5 to 10 years, and I'm sort of have my, looking around to see what's going on out there.
So we share a passion in esports, specifically gaming, because esports is so huge. Like it's such a big umbrella term, and every game title can be its own avenue, its own like NBA, for example. It could be its own NHL. You've got League of Legends, that's one version of NBA. You've got CS, that's the NHL. You've got so many different leagues and so many different options, but I think we both agree the majors are always really going to draw us in.
Exactly.
So I want to get your feedback on some ideas. I know you've shared a lot about your history as an avid gamer and a fan, very passionate fan of video games. We've talked a bit about your day-to-day and what you do with the Vancouver Titans. I would love to know your thoughts on what you think the Canadian esports industry needs support in. So you've mentioned a few things that I can relate to. So the collegiate space is one example. We talked a bit about large events like LCS and having being drawn to these events and these organizations. Like, what is it in Canada that you feel is one area that we need more support in when it comes to the esports industry?
That's a great question, and something that I've actually thought about quite a bit personally, just reflecting on my career in Canada esports. And a good story comes to mind from back when I was in high school still, actually. So in my grade 12 year, in the spring, I was able to attend the LCS Spring Finals that were held at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, which was a memory that I'll never forget because it
Yep.
was my first big sort of championship that I attended in person and got to see and experience with, over 10,000 people in the same arena. And, magic moments like that, I think, is something that Canada really needs more of in terms of just bringing together the community into, LAN events that make people, stay up at night remembering and smiling in their heads with their friends. A great example as well was just last summer in Toronto. There was the Summer Showdown that the Toronto Defiant hosted during the Overwatch League season. Things like that as well are a great example of what we can do as Canadians to sort of show that we have just as passionate as a community as places in Europe or the States or elsewhere in the world, and sort of continuing to build on the progress that those events put towards esports being a community, and having more big exciting things to go on is a way that I think Canada can really benefit from.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The idea of a large event in Vancouver or in Canada, it helps give people a goal. It helps give people something to work towards. As a competitive player, yes, that's there. But then as a fan, like we're here doing our meetup here, but it's actually about the community being brought together. There's something very visceral about these type of events, like the camaraderie, the cheering, those crazy Twitter highlight moments when you just know what are the chances of that play or that specific play happening in that moment. It's just amazing to experience it with a bunch of other people who appreciate video games the way that we do. So I agree with you. I think large events, I could be wrong when I say this, but I feel like one of the absolute largest events that has happened and hit Canada was the Dota International, which we haven't seen again in Vancouver. But yeah, that was a sold out show 6 days in the Rogers Arena back in 2018 with weekdays, like sold out weekdays, sold out weekends with a ridiculous, I believe it was like a $25+ million prize pool for that entire event. Yeah, let's see more of those type of events out here.
Definitely.
Let's just sprinkle $25 million all over these competitive players and see what happens.
Yeah. Also, I had another thing I wanted to add on that as well. Just in terms of if we're thinking about like why big events like this are so important. You know, it's an excellent point you make about sort of having it be the peak of watching competition in these games that we love. But I think having worked, you know, in the industry now for a while, I can also recognize how things like this are like, you know, the ultimate opportunity for businesses as well to get involved in the space and to have a way that they meaningfully, you know, connect with the audience that they want to reach, as well as being sort of, you know, great opportunities for the secondary market of esports to get involved, where you know there's fan clubs that sort of are able to gather in one place, or businesses are able to sort of get more notoriety by connecting to the gaming community this way. So there's just so much that sort of can blossom out of these sort of, you know, flagpole events that you put up, and it draws in so much opportunity within the competitive side of things and then the behind the scenes as well. It's a great chance for people to gain experience, you know, opportunities by being a part of them, being involved with them, and even just watching it as a fan. So yeah, more of those, please, in Canada. I would love that.
Yeah, let's take a real world example, like live here on the stream. One of our sponsors, ASUS, clearly visible in the overlay right now, has been one of our biggest supporters. And just like Zach, behind the scenes, there are humans behind the scenes working with us at ASUS. So me with Memory Express, I'm not ASUS, but Memory Express and ASUS invest in this space, in this opportunity through these meetups, through investing in MEsports, through investing in NorQuest College, and giving us the ability to create these live streams. With these people making the decisions behind the scenes to say, yes, we would like ASUS to be a part of these events. We would like the ASUS brand to be part of these live streams. They are getting access to the audience in a very different way. And just like I was saying, you are behind the scenes, Zach, and I want to put more spotlight on the people who make these big machines work. Because having the Vancouver Titans doesn't just happen on its own. Someone is driving that forward, just like at ASUS. Someone is making the decision to say, I would love to sponsor you guys. Please continue doing the work that you do. And on that note, Zach, you are no different. What you're doing, just as a marketing intern, it doesn't matter what your title is. We're all contributing to the same end goal of growing Canadian esports out of a passion. So, Zach, I want to thank you. We want to recognize the work you do. You may or may not know Rui, but Rui from Action Media, I know it's a small esports community out here in Canada, especially if it's just Vancouver. So you and Rui are the same to me in terms of the people behind the scenes who support these communities that we bring out to our events. So, Zach, I wanted to end things off with giving you the opportunity to just share your final thoughts, maybe ask us a question. Just let me know, how would you like to end this interview off today?
Yeah, first of all, just want to say thank you for your words, Ronnie. You know, as you said, we're very close knit here in Canada in the esports community, and even though you know I'm out here in Vancouver and you guys are up in Edmonton, you know, we always are able to feel like we're all just one big community brought together by the stuff that we're passionate about. And I really love the fact that there's opportunities now with, you know, the meetups and similar things going on, that we're sort of building up the ways for people to connect with each other and get to share experiences. And I just think that the future is very bright for everyone if they want to get involved and be a part of what's going on in Canada for esports, because the sky's the limit.
It definitely is. I agree with you, Zach. So for all the viewers out there on Twitch, we are going to go into a 5-minute break. When we come back, I will be bringing, or I will be, who are we bringing on here? Crash? Yeah, Crash Cook. So Crash Cook's one of our bigger supporters as well. And when we come back, we'll be talking a bit more about the Meetup live stream setup and getting really technical. So feel free to come back with tons of technical questions. And yeah, thanks again, Zach. We'll have you come back in a few months, and we'll see where life is for you, how things have changed. But yeah, thanks again, Zach. We'll see you later.
Absolutely. Take care.
Oh, hi, Ronnie.
Why, hello, Crash.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. It's been almost, I guess not everyone's on stream with us for 12 hours, but it's been almost about 12 hours for me.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah, this venue and this space is so amazing, and I can't believe that we've worked together for 3 years, and this is our first time physically in the same space doing the thing we do here, live
Yeah.
streaming esports.
Like, how many events have we done together? But this is the first one that we've done together in person, right? Like,
I'd have to say, during the pandemic, we did a ton of events, and it's probably it's not like it's in the 30s or 50s. It's probably over 10 events, I'd say.
yeah,
But during the pandemic, I fully admit that this was also a social outlet for me. You know, meeting people in Discord, being able to share my passion for video games with other communities and turn it into a live stream experience. So yeah, it still boggles my mind, and I actually still tell this story to people. In my role back in 2019, I just got this email from someone I'd never met before, and I had no idea who this person was, and I just saw the name Crash Goak. So I looked up your website, and then I responded to your email saying, hey, we should meet and we should talk. I think what you do is amazing. And then a few months later, a pandemic happened, and before you know it, you're helping with our live streams for the very first few MEsports events we've done,
yeah,
which were very different at that time. That was when the world was under this panic, which for absolute fair reasons, we were all in that panic.
yeah.
And we were trying to fundraise and find a space to do some good in a very dark time.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting. Yeah, I remember. I reached out. It was just basically a cold call. I just shot a DM to Memory Express and
Yeah.
on Twitter, and it's like you, I forget how. I think I tweeted at Memory Express, and then they said, "Well, DM," and I don't think that was you yet. I think that was someone before you,
Yeah.
and then you happened to see the DM shortly after.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then we took it into email, and from there we connected, and I told my manager at the time that I think we should work with this guy. His name's Crash Koik. And from there, I think one of our first events must have been for CSGO. It was either CSGO or Valorant.
I think it might have be my Valorant time.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first one.
Oh man, that was a really fun one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
remember
that
that
was
was
my
February
first-
2021.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah.
I think that was the first event. Yeah, because we started doing events around them, but you and I were kind of spitballing and kind of working on ideas, throwing ideas around
Yeah.
for a good year, right?
Yeah, and we were looking for ways to work together because as a member of the Memory Express team, there's the retail business, and there's so many things going on there that need support that I wasn't really committed fully to MEsports when we met at that time. So what that was like finding time to do anything in the esports space.
Yeah.
And that's why it was very difficult for us to collaborate. And then you've watched this journey kind of expand, and now I can confidently say that MEsports is thriving, and we found our space here. We have a full-time team, and we still do work for the Memory Express retail side of things, absolutely. But at that time, it was a business model that needed a lot more work and a lot more support. So people like yourself, man, it was game changing to get your support back then, and it's game changing now. And I just love it. Like, I used to work out of a basement during the pandemic, and here we are in this amazing atrium at NorQuest College.
Well,
Hey, and
the camera setup's not incredibly important. Starting to do a little bit of tear down, but look at that. Like,
yeah.
Look, that's where we've been set up.
Yeah, let's
And-
show Arian with the
Yeah,
big
there we
screen
go.
there.
and this entire stream,
Yeah.
not only have we been broadcasting to you, I mean, it's all on the big screen right there live as well. It's all been really cool.
Yeah, and I had really no idea that this would bring us together here and work more closely doing the things we're all passionate about. I have a film background and a passion for video games, so live streaming is like the ultimate blend
Yeah.
of both of those worlds. And Crash, yourself, what are the passions that you have in this whole space here?
I love tech. Just in general,
Yeah.
I love tech.
Yeah.
But I love entertaining people too. I really enjoy that. And then Twitch especially, or live content especially, being able to have a dialogue, a two-way conversation with people as you're doing the content, as you're having fun. It's a whole different experience. Like I've done, I tried YouTube for a while, right? And it's just like, okay, I'll pump my heart and soul into the video, and it's like, okay, cool, numbers are going up, but it's not the same as a live show where I get to actually talk with everyone, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the live production experience, there's something about it. I compare it to live news and how everything that's happening in like morning news, for example, that's almost the same thing, but you're now doing it in the comfort of your own home or a studio or whatever it is that you choose. But technology has given us the freedom to just do all of that
yeah.
by yourself or with a team.
Yep.
But if you do it by yourself like this guy does, he has found his passion in tech and merged it with live streaming. So with the topic of tech,
Yes.
I'm going to be the first to fully disclose that we have a cable management job opportunity, and we are not going to hire for that role today, but I'm just giving full disclosure that we are going to show off our live stream space a little bit, and it is a cable mess, but we're not normally set up in this atrium, and this is our first attempt at setting it up. And the reality of it is, you do your best with what you've got, and sometimes you try to make something from nothing. So let's talk tech, Crash. Let's talk
right.
about some gear. We're currently in Canada, and some of us have to travel to get here. This is not your usual setup.
Nope.
So I want to put myself and my team on the spot, because we typically interview other people and we ask them tons of questions.
Yep.
So I would love to switch over to you.
Okay.
And I want the topic that we focus on today to be how we can improve our live stream, how we can improve as Memory Express and MEsports. I just want to, I'm going to veto cable management because that is the most obvious. And it is something I am so struggling, like I must cable manage. But when it comes to live events,
Yeah.
you just got to do what you got to do and make it
Yeah.
work. So yeah, we'll take live stream questions, but also like give me some feedback. You've worked with us here for some time, and I would love to get some of your thoughts on how we can improve things.
Well, for the casters, absolutely stream decks.
Absolutely,
Absolutely
yes.
need stream
Yep,
decks.
no questions asked there.
Yeah. So there's that. Audio, I understand the audio setup you have, but lots of people wouldn't. So that would be a difficult thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I understand it because I nerd out over audio, and I have the same interface that you have as well. And so, but if anyone else is taking over, then yeah, a more simplistic approach to audio would
Correct.
definitely be the way to go, and can be accomplished. But I do understand you're working with what you have and doing a great job with it. But if starting from scratch, there are a few devices that would work amazingly.
So streamlining a lot of what we have. We have a blend of my personal equipment that is, I would confidently say, close to 30 to 40% of the entire live stream setup.
Yep.
And it kind of has been that way for some time. But that is, like I said, making something from nothing. It's
Yeah.
just a necessary part of this process. So you're so right. I have a music production bias. So there is some messy concoction. You can take a look at this right now.
Let's see if I have enough length in the cable here.
Yeah, but
Actually-
we've got some.
Oh, excuse it. Okay, all right, you guys are going on a roller coaster ride right now. There we go.
So awesome. So right here, you're seeing some analog gear. You've got an 18i20 Koji. You've lost your lunch. I apologize. This is handling all of our microphones and very capable. It takes care of all of our audio routing needs, not just microphones. This takes care of our headphones, and yes, it's a bit of a cable mess. We don't even full disclosure. We don't even sell any of this gear at Memory Express because it enters a realm of equipment that's beyond the computer hardware side of things. But yes, Crash, I agree with you. We want to streamline things, and let's keep going. Yeah, rip right into us. I love Knives' comments. Just rip into Ryan. And then we got Koji telling us to fight. Oh my goodness. So we want to streamline things.
Yep.
Absolutely. How about this? How about why do you think, why should a viewer care to streamline things? What is there that, why does it matter so much?
Well, if you streamline your equipment, it makes it so you can focus on your show, not running your show. That's the biggest thing.
That's a huge difference.
Like you want to be able to focus on entertaining people and putting out the content, not whether or not your gear is working and making tweaks and whatnot. And Knives, you know I do. Why do you even stream, brah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the more you can do to simplify it, the more you can just focus on just the content, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's we're both passionate about tech, and I think what I'm hearing is more of these are tools to support the personalities on stream. And as tools, we should be focusing on the viewers, the content we're creating together, and not so much the gear.
yep.
Although there are some people who like that's all they do. Like when they talk about gear, it's like this is the topic. But for us,
Yeah.
we're entertaining and talking about so many things that don't necessarily have to do with all the gear.
Yeah.
It's very, what's it called? There's layers. It's a very meta process because
It's an onion.
it's an onion with many layers. It just keeps going. Yeah, so I love that feedback. I love hearing that we want to streamline things more so we can focus on
Yeah.
the audience and focus more on present here.
Yeah. So one thing that I did do, because I have my portable setup here too, and what I like to do with the portable setups is I like to run as much wireless as I can. Now wireless, generally I stay away from wireless. Like in my permanent setup, like everything's wired. Like
Right.
the only thing that's wireless is my mouse because I hate the tail.
Of course,
Right?
yeah.
But in my temporary setup, I try to get rid of as many wires as possible. So that would be like keyboard and mouse. On a setup like this, I'd go with that as well. I'd go with just a more compact setup. But the two monitors, nice. Personally, I like to see 3 monitors. And like we were actually talking about a little bit earlier, instead of a ton of USB devices, we go into like the Camlink Pro or something like that.
That's right.
Where you can use camcorders or DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, get an HDMI signal, so you're not overloading the USB controller, which we actually have happened today, I believe.
Yeah. I believe that's what caused a bit of an audio delay there. Okay, Knives would like to see triple 49-inch ultra-wide monitors.
I'd like to see it too. It's just I don't have the space for it.
I mean, that's just a wall at that point.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stack them vertically,
Oh yeah.
I would love to see that too.
Yeah.
It's really also you need a computer that can handle that. So that's another challenge, but fortunately not for this system.
Yep.
Shout out to Memory Express. Thank you, Memory Express. We've got we've got a lot of knowledge here between us, Crash. We've talked about some gear. We've talked about live streaming and kind of how we got together.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a few questions about your career and moving forward as a live streamer / content creator. In my books, you're a live streamer first,
Yep.
and then everything else after, everything else being gamer, content creator / influencer, what order would you put all that in? Or did I already get that spot on?
Yeah, I think live streamer first. But that also ties into like everything to do with live streaming, like
Which is huge.
the presentation of the live streaming and the tech and whatnot. So live streaming, I do everything else so that I can live stream.
That's right. Yes.
Right. So I do accounting so I can live stream. I do all the
Yes.
I do everything else so I can live stream. Live streaming is what I want to do.
Yeah. So it's a passion that's so strong it can drive all the other
Yeah.
angles and avenues that are involved as you peel away that onion, and slowly you're forced to do things like accounting.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not about accounting. It's just that it supports the passion to live stream more.
Exactly. Yeah.
So with the idea of live streaming more, would you? Oh gosh, that's so good, Knives. That passion is so strong.
You're a dick.
Just putting him on the spot here. Oh my goodness. You know what though? I enjoy it when we put ourselves on the spot, because in my previous interview with Zach, I want to talk about the reality of how things work. You know, it's not always the most perfect setup. It's not always. It's just so much more work, and there's real people involved with a real impact to these people's lives. Mm-hmm. So, with it ties perfectly right into what I wanted to ask you, Crash. Is the future for you in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? Not too far away.
Yeah.
Can you share a few of the plans that you have, or is there a game plan for you? Because lately on Twitch, I've noticed you've dialed back your schedule, so I'm guessing you've been working on some things and you probably have a plan in place as you usually do. So in the next 3 to 5 years, what's the game plan for you?
Oh, Knives and I have actually been working on a new show concept for the last 2.5 years. And we did some initial work with, have you heard of Mr. Weeble?
Yes.
Badger. So
Yeah.
worked with him for a while on it too. So yeah, we actually have some stuff in play. Now I've dialed back a bit, not so much because of the stream stuff, but because of IRL. I have to pay a mortgage.
Yes.
So I have I've had some major projects because by day I'm a contractor. So I'm actually just wrapping up a hospital now. Patients are moving in next Friday, but that's been taking a lot of my time. And but going forward, there's kind of a theme that we have going forward, and it's not just that, but we've been spending a lot of time developing characters on the stream as well,
Yes.
developing characters on the show, and actually want to have a story-driven show as well, something where it's more episodes, and we'll have the main show, and then we also have story concepts for spin-offs and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, you mentioned the show to me in the past. It just sounds like an amazing, giant project, and it's going to take quite a bit of commitment and work to get into getting it launched.
yeah,
How close are we there?
not close enough.
So we can't put a date to it.
No.
But it's in development, and it's something that you
Well-
have full intention to follow through on still.
At this point, Knives and I still need to learn a new programming language and learn how to make a video game for part of the show.
So that passion that drives all these layers that
Yep.
that combine and create your live stream is alive and well
Yeah,
over in the land of Crash Cook. And Knives, we've met in person before, and I love that you're supporting the heck out of this guy, because man, do we need as much support as we can get in this space. It's really a challenge. I've got Leo Greed. Leo, how are you, Leo? I wanna pull up your question into the stream. What is the first non-stream skill you think is important for content creation? Some examples: accounting, writing, acting. What are your thoughts there, Crash? What is your first non-stream skill?
Non-stream skill.
So it's like a secondary skill that's
yeah.
not directly related to live streaming.
Yeah, that's actually a tough one. I mean, accounting, that's something that you should have in life, in general. and I'm actually kind of upset that I didn't really learn anything about accounting in high school. It didn't prep me for it at all, right? Like, so yeah, there you go, improv, right, Naz? Confidence.
Ooh.
Confidence is a big thing.
Yeah.
I think, and that's everything in life. Like if you have confidence, lots of the time you can just bulldoze your stuff through whatever.
Yeah.
If you have confidence, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's an important. Would that be a skill or would that be a trait though? That's the thing.
I feel like it's a trait that you could develop, and then it becomes something that you use as a skill. Yeah. I'd count it. I'd count it.
Then
I think
confidence.
so. I think I want to jump in on this. This is a good question. Leo, thank you for this wonderful question. I think RG, we're gonna bug you on that one later. But non-stream skill, Leo is asking about that's helpful for live streaming, but not necessarily the technical side of live streaming. What would that non-stream related skill be? I think a big one would be self-care.
Yeah.
So let's say you're doing great and everything's going well, but if your health slips, whether it's physical or mental health, everything is on shaky ground. Everything starts to fall apart. So
True.
the grind that we are all familiar with, degen hours playing games and just going at it with terrible habits, and more specifically, those habits could be diet, sleeping hours, your ability to just take care of your basic needs. I think self-care is actually a skill.
Yeah.
And it sounds super simple and basic, but when you're having fun doing the kind of work you do, you don't even realize how close you are to being exhausted or burnt out.
You know how many times I've burnt out? Like I've burnt myself out so many times, and I'm at the point now. I understand. I know when it's coming on.
Yeah.
But I have burnt myself out so many times because it's just something I love doing, this kind of stuff, and I will push myself beyond my limits, and then I'll crash. Like
Yeah.
I'll have nothing left, and it's a big reset, right? So.
And every time you have to do that reset, it's very taxing on your friendships, your relationships. I think self-care is often undervalued because it seems so obvious.
Mm.
It's almost like in elementary school, when they teach you in first or second grade, here's your nutritional value for the day. You should eat this much grains, fruits, meats for proteins, all this stuff. Some of the most valuable things that I still, to this day, like every time I talk to Arian about what are we up to, taking care of ourselves. Like that's a priority for our team. On top of our health, on top of our mental health, because without those foundations, we can't do these things. We can't have fun and enjoy the opportunities we have. So self-care is my answer, and Crash Cook's answer is confidence.
Yep.
Because that's a killer pair if you have both.
Oh yeah. You can take care of yourself and you're confident.
And you've got confidence.
You're going places.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like passion is a given at this point.
I think so.
In this field, like if you're not passionate, you're already in the wrong, and it's just you're up against some very strong, confident people who have that energy and that passion.
Yeah, I think so.
So we had a question. It's kind of a response to Leo's question about skills, non-related skills to live streaming. And I want to point out RG's question. He said editing, ? As in video editing, photo editing, all that fun stuff.
Right.
What kind of editing have you gone into? Because not a lot of live streamers are editors, video editors, post-production kind of people. Where's your thoughts on editing?
I actually do quite a bit of it because I do all of my own alerts and animations and everything on my stream. So it's I'll do all of that stuff. So if you've been by my stream, you've seen that I have some crazy alerts and there's a crash command where there's all kinds of animations happening and whatnot. And so I do the editing there, and it's a useful tool. It is. But I still stand by what I said with the confidence. That is way more. And I mean, just one thing in general. before looking into all the gear and looking into all the extra stuff, all the toys and everything that you think you need for streaming. Don't get it until you spend a little bit of time with your PS4 live streaming with your PlayStation camera or your Xbox with the camera on there, and just do basic stuff. Because there's a couple things you have to do. One, you have to get confident. It takes a while to get comfortable in front of an audience. It takes a while to get used to reading chat. It takes a while to figure out who you want to be on stream. That's the big thing. That's something that can't be rushed. And depending on what that is, that'll also help drive your equipment too. So don't go in spending a lot of money, unless you go to MesportsX to don't go in spending a whole bunch of money. Just take it slow, get comfortable with it, build up your confidence, and learn about yourself and what you're like on stream, and then build up around that. Build your equipment around that. That kind of thing. So that's one thing. Just in general, because we have a question about streaming, but just if you're getting into streaming, get comfortable with it first before splurging.
I think editing is a huge asset if you already have that skill set.
Yep.
It's something that will carry over, and it will help, whether it's photo or video editing. Just understanding what that workflow looks like as a photo or video editor or a graphic designer. Maybe you do just 2D graphics. Like it all helps. Mm-hmm. I see another question here from Humbucker.
Yep.
Let's go with that question. We've got, in the many years since you've started streaming, Crash, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment / favorite self-made creation?
Biggest accomplishment. We'll go with my favorite self-made creation.
It's knives. It's knives. That's just...
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. 01001101. No, that's supposed to be muted. Oh. So my favorite self-made creation would actually be my starting scene screen. That was a lot of fun to make, and it's a fully
interactive. Yeah.
That was my favorite thing to create. My biggest accomplishment, probably the confidence and to reach out to MesportsX and as well as Elgato and Electro Voice and be able to partner with these awesome brands and awesome people. That's huge for me. And to also be able to turn down like G Fuel and not just jump on the G Fuel bandwagon and stuff like that, right? Because that's different than actually working with a brand, right? So nothing against G Fuel, and if you're working with G Fuel, cool, power to you. It's just, for me, it's not something that necessarily suits me, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I want something where it's going to be a good fit, it's going to be a two-way street, right? So
having the key to the point there was having the confidence to say yes or no to the brands you want to support and the brands you want to work with.
Yep.
Because in earlier days when you kind of get your first, do you remember getting paid for the first time doing something you love? Like that's an
cool.
Amazing feeling. Yeah. But there's a point where you also care about exactly who's paying you and what that message sends when you decide to work with a certain anyone. It doesn't have to be a brand. It could be an event. It could be a game title. It could be so many different brands.
And that's the thing. Like I get 2 to 3 offers a day. I kid you not, 2 to 3 offers a day with game keys saying, "Will you play this game?" And it's not my type of game. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not gonna do it justice. I'm not gonna enjoy my time. So I'm not gonna waste both of our times doing it. Right?
Yep. That's a great question with something that you see as an accomplishment. One of the things that I love doing is, so I'm fairly new to live streaming, but I went deep into it to try to push those boundaries, and I have other skill sets that support my live streaming journey, such as a film background, a music production background, and a little bit on graphics, mainly in Photoshop. So that helped me skip some steps. But what I love doing is just looking back at what my live stream looks like every 6 to 12 months and comparing it to where that is like pretty much from the beginning, and then every 6 months from there, all the way to now, and just seeing the progression, seeing how things change and how things improve,
Yeah.
is one of the main accomplishments that I really appreciate. Is just seeing how things grow,
Yeah.
embracing those changes, and just that's one of the things that I love.
Yeah. Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, we say no to a few brands. We say no to G Fuel, but we'll accept Raid Shadow Legends. Hilarious.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hilarious. Yeah. So we've got a few more minutes left. Feel free to keep throwing those questions at us. We're just here enjoying each other's company because we've never had the opportunity to do this in the past. We've still got a few people playing Smash Bros. Ultimate, but we are wrapping things up at the venue here at NorQuest College. So I'll continue. I've got some questions here for you, Crash.
Sure.
If you mentioned earlier you're a contractor, so you're dealing with construction work, and you mentioned that you're doing work to open up a hospital this month, at the end of this month.
Yep.
So let's just say money was out of the equation and you didn't have to worry about the mortgage. You didn't have to worry about any of the kind of contracts that you currently do to support your living expenses and support your costs. Let's
Yep.
just say you could retire today.
Okay.
What would you be doing with the rest of your life?
Travel and live stream.
Travel and live stream.
Not necessarily travel live streams, but
Yeah.
no. I'd love to travel. I mean, we're going. Wife and I are going to Spain all of May.
Beautiful.
So we love traveling. But for me, my at-home thing would be if I could stream, 4 days a week kind of thing, and then spend a couple days a week, building the show and just kind of expanding that. Even if I didn't have to worry about money and whatnot, like just to do that would be fun. That'd be enjoyable.
Yeah. And at your own pace, it sounds like being able to just show up and do these things and not worry about time and
Yeah.
pressure. You could just enjoy your travels for a month, come back and stream as you please. On the topic of self-care, our friendships and relationships, like that's part of the thing with keeping ourselves in check and on top of things. We have personal lives. We don't just exist in these uniforms or as Crash Koic. So I definitely understand how your brain went immediately to traveling, because
Yeah.
I know you're not traveling alone, unless you
Yeah.
are, which is totally cool too. But great, Humbucker, we've got another question. Absolutely, I love this question. I've actually asked Crash this one before. If you had to do it all over again, with the knowledge you have now, how would you start and what would you do differently?
So here's a follow-up question to your question. Start right now or start when I started? Like start back when I kind of
Do it all
figured
over
out-
again. So let's assume you could talk to 2016, was it when you started?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Let's go back in time to 2016 Crash and be like, hey, 19-year-old Crash,
What would I do?
what would you do?
I would basically back then, if it was 2015, 2016, go all in.
Wow.
At that
You
point.
would knock on your own door and tell that Crash Koic to go all in.
Because I think a lot of issues have been that I did not fully commit to it for the longest time.
Right.
Right.
It's like fear of the unknown.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if I could go back to day one when I first hit the go live button, I'd tell myself go all in.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a strong suggestion, like a strong recommendation.
Yep.
I had a friend in 2017, I believe, is a close friend of mine. He told me back then, maybe 2016 even, he asked me a question. He's like, Ron, have you ever heard of Twitch? And I said no,
Yep.
because this was well before I even started.
Yep.
And he was the first person who recommended to me, like, I should consider this path.
Yep.
And to this day, I'm like, man, 2016, 2017, had I taken his advice and actually done something about it, I wouldn't have told myself to go all in. We're very different, but I would have told myself to start.
Yeah.
Just try. Just start.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about much. Just give it a try, because I did not give it a try when he recommended it to me, and he is one of my best friends. And then I ended up waiting until 2020 to give it a try.
Yeah.
But with YouTube, I tried right away. I
Yeah.
had fun with YouTube in 2006, had my first few viral videos, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to
Yeah.
be able to have that history and to be part of that growth. But yeah, what a wonderful question. Thank you, Humbucker, for that. We're going to continue and see what our chat has. We've got Leo. Follow up to the question. Leo Greed asks, if you could start all over again, would you choose Twitch or another social media platform? Keeping in mind 2016 was a very different landscape.
Twitch still.
Twitch was still there, YouTube
Yeah.
was there, but without the live streaming aspect. Mixer didn't exist yet.
Not yet. I'd still go Twitch.
Yeah.
As flawed as Twitch is, I'd still go Twitch.
Yeah.
It is the best place for live content. It's where people default to. Lots of people default to. See, back then though, you could use the ABC method. Always be casting. Just have a presence. Always have a stream on, and you'll grow.
That's true.
That back then you could do that. You can't do that now. That doesn't work now. And Twitch, what works and what doesn't changes so rapidly. Like I'd say it changes yearly, but it changes even faster than that. So, but back then, just having a stream on and always streaming, that made a difference. So yeah, MySpace gaming. Booyah.
Yeah, it's
Excuse me.
Twitch is such an interesting platform, and there's something unique about how it is when you stream here versus a different platform.
Yeah.
YouTube is a behemoth of a platform, and could easily enter this space in a much more aggressive way, and they kind of are.
Well, they could demolish Twitch in 6 months. Twitch would be
If
gone
they
if they
tried,
wanted to.
if they really tried,
Yep.
and they really wanted to.
Twitch would be gone in 6 months if YouTube tried.
Yeah, I actually don't really understand why they haven't, but that could happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that Twitch has a parent company, and if you didn't know, there is a parent company behind Twitch,
Yeah.
and there is a giant parent company behind YouTube.
Yeah.
Actually, they're both huge.
Yeah.
All right, Amazon owns Twitch, guys. Let's just let's just say it out loud. Google owns YouTube. Everyone knows this, and if you don't,
Excuse me.
welcome to the club. These are two giant players.
Yep.
That get funded way beyond the platforms that they run themselves. So Twitch is backed hugely by Amazon and YouTube by Google. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Like they could just say, all right, we're gonna copy a lot of the features that Twitch has, and boom, here we
Yeah.
go. YouTube's got a lot of those features. So yeah, that's
They're not
that's a
that
great
far
question.
off either, though. It's just that little bit. But
Yeah.
just that little bit, and they'd be on par with Twitch. Just a little bit, but the thing is, their technology is way better than Twitch. You can do
Yeah.
4K broadcasts.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's a huge one that also drives the hardware industry forward, because a lot of the hardware is ready for much more taxing live stream quality.
Yeah.
And Twitch right now just doesn't support anything beyond 1080p 60 frames at a very, very small 6,000 kilobits per second. Unless I'm mistaken, Crash, but is that correct?
6,000 is the recommended, but not a hard cap.
What's the cap right now?
You can technically go as high as you want.
Oh, they don't have a limit on it.
Well, they recommend that you stay to 6,000.
I see.
Lots of people, what they'll do is they'll do 8,000 at 1080p. I'm one of those people. I do 8,000 at 1080p. But since I'm an affiliate, not a partner, I don't get guaranteed transcoding. So that
Right.
means that the viewers may not get the quality options, and so someone who has more internet would not be able to watch. So there's a way around it. On Twitch, I have a transcoding screen. Start up my stream, go to my page, and see if I have transcoding. If not, kill your stream for 60 seconds, try again.
Yeah.
And normally you get it, if you don't get it the first try, it's been way better with Twitch.
Yeah.
But if you don't get it the first try, normally the second or third try, you'll get it.
And then you're locked in for that stream, and you just try
Yep.
to let it run
Yep.
its course for the whole time, and now people can choose full quality, whatever quality they can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's my opinion on Kick? I haven't looked into it enough. I don't trust it at this point. We'll say that. It's a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. I don't see anything really amazing about it. It's just they're marketing on the fact that Twitch sucks. That's their marketing, right? And that instead of marketing that these are our amazing features, they're marketing it as, hey, Twitch sucks. Come on over here instead.
Yeah.
And that's never I never trust a company that markets that way.
Yeah, and the reality of any company is that they bring value by either solving problems or improving quality of life. So if I was to chime in on Kick, what they're trying to say is Twitch isn't good enough, but we're not even focusing on what kind of problems Kick's solving. We're not talking about the value that Kick is bringing to the table. So not the strongest angle, but the controversy draws attention.
Yeah, right. That's a big thing. Any publicity is good publicity is kind of how it's running, right?
Yeah. I think, but then we could be wrong. 5 years from now, we could be like, I want to go back in time to 2023.
It could be. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's just without a crystal ball. At this point, I think it's a bad idea to jump on Kick.
Yeah.
It could change. All of a sudden, you could get ownership, but the problem is that, I mean, one thing, looking at the people who represent Kick, the faces of Kick, there's if that's who the company chooses to represent them, there's a problem with the leadership at that point.
Yeah. It's the Wild West right now.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Yeah, very scary for brands with no moderation, right? Yeah.
Yep, that's true. It's interesting because every platform has terms of service, and that just helps make sure that things are kept in line and kept appropriate on the platform. And it's just a little bit difficult for brands like Memory Express to get involved if things go sideways. You know, you don't want to have such a negative experience overall.
That is not, I'm gonna say, Koji, that's not Twitch's fault, because what that would be is I wouldn't blame Twitch for that ball pit or that foam pit at TwitchCon.
Right. Okay. So
that's not Twitch's fault, in my opinion.
To that point, though, with the brands being negatively associated with things, like that's a great example of it.
Yeah.
Right. That was not Twitch directly. Okay, there are subcontractors, there's other companies involved
Absolutely.
behind the scenes, but just that association is...
It was at TwitchCon, it was
Yeah.
the Intel booth,
That's
who
right.
hired a contractor to do the foam pit, and the insurance was underneath the San Diego Convention Center. So, I mean, Twitch is, out of everybody involved, Twitch is the furthest disconnected
That's
company,
right.
Right? But it's Twitch that screwed up, according to tons of people. So it's interesting.
They hear the TwitchCon part,
Yeah.
and then they latch on to TwitchCon, and then because it happened at TwitchCon in San Diego just 2022 in October, because something happened there, it's now Twitch's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a sensitive one.
There we go. Make a wish. Just register for TwitchCon Paris for our booth. We now have to have independent insurance.
We learn.
Yeah.
We learn and move forward.
Yep. So that's Twitch going, nope, we're not taking the blame for someone else screwing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a learning opportunity that had some pretty big consequences.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. I love that Make-A-Wish International's in the chat here just talking and joining us today, Crash. These are some real conversation pieces. Like, this is not on a script. Here, check this out. I've got some talking points I want to share with you. You see them? Yeah, right here. If we're just talking...
Well, what did I say to you right before? Hey, we just got to spitball this? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We'll just spitball it. The reason being is I want people to. The whole theme today that I was trying to bring forward is let's talk about the realities of things. It's not always the best, perfect outcome. Things have consequences, but we move forward anyways. So we had Rui here earlier talking about the realities of creating this amazing annual summary that is the Action Media report for Canadian esports in 2022. They just released it last week or 2 weeks ago. And then earlier, just before our interview with Crash, we talked with Zach from the Vancouver Titans as a marketing intern, what the reality is of that looks like. And now we're here with Crash, talking about the realities of being a live streamer and what that career looks like. Amazing. And now we've got Make-A-Wish International joining us as we close off our live stream tonight.
Yep.
Just spitballing back and forth, trying to figure out what life is like in this space, because a ton of people love it, tons of passion, just as we talked about with Crash earlier. And we wanted to share what that career looks like here.
So Koji says, Crash didn't tell me who his favorite hockey team was. Well, since I don't really watch hockey, but I watch Letterkenny, Knives is right, the Letterkenny Shamrocks. We're gonna go with that. Who's the best player on the team? Come on. Knives, you at least know. If any of you watch Letterkenny, who's on there? Who's on the Shamrocks? There we go. April has it. Shorzy!
Shorzy's hilarious.
Yeah.
So Shorzy's, the script writing in the show is amazing.
It's brilliant. And you know that he started out on YouTube, eh?
Letterkenny
started out as a YouTube series and then got bought by Crave.
And they do a lot of their filming in Vancouver, even though it's all over the country in Canada.
Yep.
It's great. I love seeing Canadian talent. I think we don't get enough spotlight for the talent that is born out of the country here, like this guy. Clearly, with like every stream, right?
There we go.
So, I didn't know he's from Calgary. Thank you, April, for sharing that. I'm no longer from Calgary. I just moved.
Yeah, that's why he hires all Canadian actors for his role. Perfect.
And behind the scenes, the music's all Canadian. A lot of the actors and actresses, he tries to keep it Canadian.
Yeah. I couldn't tell Koji with the YYC. I didn't know where you were.
Shout out to Koji. He's actually been at our meetups in the past. He's one of our photographers. Joined us back on February 11th when we were in the Innovation Studio. So a different space, but still here at NorQuest College. We today have Crash Kolik joining us, and we're going to sign off in about 5 minutes here, so feel free to throw more questions in the chat. I'm going to say a farewell to April from Make-A-Wish International. Thank you for joining us in the chat as we close things off.
Oh, that was not a question. Why, earlier you said, what made you want to create your own line of PCs?
Let's go there, yeah.
Yeah. Why did I create Stream PC? Because I saw what the market was like for streamers and content creators, and there's a lot of snake oil salesmen, right? And they will upsell you so much stuff. I wanted to provide products, and working with Ronnie on some other things as well, products where it is, you're not wasting your money. You're getting value out of it, right? Yeah. You don't need the best of the best, and that's why we also did benchmarks showing that, you know, the Affiliate Plus, it is not like the most ultimate top tier, but you can get amazing results with it, right? Being a mid-tier system. And there's more systems we're working on, more things that I want to work on as well, so that content creators, people getting into it, are not wasting their money. Yeah. That's a big thing. Like I want people to feel good about their purchases and not get conned, because I fell victim to that, buying a whole bunch of crap that I didn't need. Now my storage space is full of crap that I cannot get rid of.
And the Stream PC was featured earlier today when I was doing the Atrium walkthrough here with Carlo, because Carlo, as the esports director here at the college, saw what Crash and I had created with the Stream PC and chose to purchase it on behalf of their esports department. So they have the full setup of Affiliate Plus Stream PCs, and he absolutely loves it. He could not stop talking about how it is better than his higher spec computer, personal computer at home, and he still can't get over what exactly is it doing differently.
Because it's perfectly balanced.
Exactly.
That's why.
It's been tested. We've proven that it gets the results people are looking for when they purchase a system of that caliber. So it was good enough for Crash's seal of approval, and it passed the Memory Express seal of approval. And my personal take on it is that, I'd put my reputation on the line to say this is some of the best value you can get
Yep.
when it comes to gaming, live streaming, and recording all at the same time.
Yep.
So whether you're a casual player all the way up to a professional competitive player, and taking it a step further, like if you're like Crash Cook doing live streaming and local recording,
Yep.
it was built to last, and it made sense for the college to make that purchase. I think it's the Stream PC itself is something I'm also deeply involved in. I'm very proud of what we've been able to build. ASUS is great to work with, so they power that
they're
system
amazing,
too.
and I love ASUS. I trust ASUS. I trust their quality. I've personally have not ever had an issue with an ASUS product. I can't say that about all other brands, and you know what? Some are just weird lemons, of course. You'll wind up there'll be one in a great brand, there'll be a lemon here and there. It's the way it is when you mass produce things. But overall, I've been incredibly happy with ASUS products. So that's what I get for my personal stuff. I get ASUS for my personal stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were, I mentioned in the interview just an hour ago with Zach that ASUS is one of our biggest supporters. They see what we're doing at the front lines here, trying to build up live streaming, content creation, esports, and ASUS said we want to support that. So here's how we'll do it. We'll work with you on the Stream PC. We'll make things official, and it'll get support to make it a reality. So it was actually Crash who approached me with the concept of what the Stream PC could be, maybe as far back as 2021.
Yep.
And then about a year afterwards, we had an opportunity to work with a few brands. It wasn't always an ASUS system. We had a few options, and then we decided to look out for the end user, just as we are ourselves as the end user. What would make the most sense? So, yeah, it's been a good journey. The Stream PC is something we're both very, very proud of, and Knives would like to know, when is the US Stream PC coming out for fellow Americans south of our border? Logistically, we could ship one to you. But the reality is Memory Express is not available as a reseller in the US. So the unfortunate reality is we don't have the infrastructure to support post-sale service in the US. So after you purchase that system, warranty support and all the kind of things that are pretty standard as a consumer electronic, we don't have that capacity right now. So Memory Express is Canada only, from BC to Ontario, and soon Nova Scotia. So that's actually something that's unannounced. But yes, we are expanding all the way into Halifax. I can't give you any dates. All I can say is that there will be some new stores opening up. And unfortunately for you, Knives, you'll have to drive up north to visit us.
Yeah, it's okay. If it breaks, Crash will fly to my house and fix it on Memory Express's dime. That sounds like a wonderful warranty program, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It does. But you know what's also great about the Stream PC? Warranty is great for peace of mind.
Yeah.
But based on what we've done,
Yep.
I work with our system builders. I work with our RMA service and warranty service kind of behind the scenes at the retail store. We've picked the right components because we've never had to have any of them brought back for service.
Haven't I asked you that too before?
Yeah.
Like, which
Yeah.
are we going to have to worry about RMA with these? And I ask you about specific components. Do you have RMA issues with this or this or this, right? Because that's so there's the added perk of it being of working with Memory Express with the Stream PC is I'm not just a system integrator buying a bunch from a supplier. You have all the data to back it up.
Yeah.
You have all the return data, the RMA data,
That's
to
right.
know whether or not there's a high probability that this component will fail or not.
Yep.
Right? So we get to use
The,
that to
the
our
full
advantage.
scope, like we take it from start to finish, and when our purchasers at Memory Express work with our stores, we have the data to tell our purchasers which products are defective, for what reasons,
Yeah.
and it's one of the ways that we determine which products to continue bringing in
Yeah.
or to discontinue at the retail levels. So
Yeah.
the conversation we get to have, or that I get to have with our purchasing team at head office is, how reliable is this product? How
Yep.
many of these SKUs or these products come back for defects, and what are the defects? Yeah, I'm proud to be able to say that we've done the due diligence to truly share some of the best products made by ASUS, some
Yep.
products not made by ASUS, right? So
Yep.
we're not limiting it to their brand. But for the Stream PC, as you can see in the stream, just right here, it's got Stream PC powered by Memory Express and ASUS.
Yep.
A lot of research and work went into making sure we were building the right PC for you guys there.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'd be nice if the industry shared more of that. Yeah, it would. But that's what we're trying to somewhat do with Stream PC. Is if you're getting a Stream PC, we've already done that, and we're not putting components in that have a high return rate or a high failure rate, anything like that, right? So, we're in essence doing that work for you.
Yeah. Nike. I recognize your name from a lot of our stream games.
Yep.
I wanna add to your comment there. So one of the unannounced pieces of news I can share is that Memory Express will be relaunching our YouTube channel and doing a lot more content focused on people like you and answering these kind of questions. RMA data is obviously very sensitive, but guess what? We're a reseller.
Yeah.
Our loyalty is to people like yourselves, like Crash, and
customer.
I don't mind, exactly.
Yep.
I don't mind talking about some of the realities that we run into with certain products because we're here to help you make your lives better with the products that we sell. When I see a list of products and I see what the defects are and why they're defective, maybe I should start sharing that publicly. Maybe I should actually do what you're asking and share that RMA data with you,
That'd
because
be
there's
interesting.
nothing stopping us from doing that if it's
No.
the truth.
Yep.
If it's the reality of a certain product, right? I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying here's what the data tells us,
Yep.
and we can absolutely share some of that information. I almost feel like that's like a reaction video. It's like let's do a reaction video to some of our RMA data,
Yeah.
and let's share some of that very sensitive information, and maybe
Well-
some of these manufacturers will take it into account.
Well, not just that, but it's always a pain for you too, right? All the whole
Yeah.
RMA process, that's a pain for you guys. You don't want to have products that you're constantly having to RMA. You're paying hours into labor to
That's right.
facilitate it. There's shipping that goes into it. Everything else, like it's a ton of time and money
Yep.
that you have to put into it because a manufacturer has a defective product and has a pattern of defective products, right? So, I mean, you'd rather sell a product that final sale and the customer's happy because one, the customer's going to come back to you,
Yep.
and two, you don't have to worry about how to fulfill any kind of warranty issue or anything like that.
That's right.
So overall, yeah, you want to avoid the defective products.
It's expensive in so many ways when a product has to be brought back to our stores because of a defect, which is why I mentioned like why is it defective is actually one of the key points here. If something is defective in a very predictable manner, then yeah, we're going to stop carrying that product. Like if we just know factually that this is going to be coming back, it is such a pain, not just for us, but for you as a customer. Now you have to do the whole back and forth,
Yep.
wait for your product to come back. You paid your hard-earned money that you chose to spend on these products. So I do agree. It is not just expensive for us to support, but it's also costly for the end customers.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. Lots of time, and depending on the company, lots of time the company will say, well, send it to us. Well, I mean, if it was something, you got a graphics card when there was no graphics cards available and your graphics card crapped out, what are you going to do, right? The company says, oh, I want it back. There's even some that are saying, I heard, and I haven't verified it myself, but I heard online that there's some companies that are wanting the entire system back. For what they'll do is it'll be a bundle or something like that. And so one company, I won't name the company, but you can guess which company it is, was bundling power supplies with graphics cards to move the power supplies that they were having issues selling.
Right.
Right? And all of a sudden the power supplies would be defective instead of just RMAing the power supply. They said, nope, you bought it as a bundle. You have to send the graphics card and the power supply
And the
back.
power supply back.
Yep.
What a process that's really not in the interest of the end customer.
No.
Like, it's so inconvenient, is it even worth doing?
Yeah.
And
but it's
quite,
more of a deterrent to stop them from going through,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it anyways. It's a deterrent to prevent people from sending back, and maybe they'll just go out and they'll buy another one and just forget the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pain.
Yeah, it's so inconvenient and such a pain that it's not worth the trouble, and that'll help get products off the shelves.
Yep.
And you heard it from me. We're a reseller. We want to sell products, but we want to sell good products that you actually care about and can appreciate, things that you can improve your quality of life with. We don't mind selling you products that you love, but we absolutely have issues with selling you products that is not really solving problems for you or making your lives easier.
Mm-hmm.
I am a customer just as much as I'm an employee of Mesports, so yeah, I think Knives is right. We're 8 minutes past time. I just really enjoy some of these topics.
Yeah, me too.
It's nice and refreshing to be able to have genuine conversations about the nerdiest things that I usually keep to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, Knives always has to do that. I'm always running past because I'll go on a tangent or whatever. I actually made that so it's a TTS. So it's, hey, crash, and then whatever he says, and it says it to me in my headset and plays it on stream. Because I do this quite often.
Yep. And going back to that point I made earlier about self-care, that's part of the reason I made a point about that is Crash, we gotta take care of you, buddy. You cannot crash again. We gotta keep you going here.
Yeah.
So we're 8 minutes, 9 minutes over time. So for the sake of self-care, we're gonna end it tonight with a very, very positive message. Crash, I think the work you do is amazing.
Thank you.
And I absolutely am motivated to support what you do as a live streamer, as a content creator. You're here viewing what we're up to, but yeah, this is 3 years.
Yep.
We've done work together remotely during the pandemic, and it's our first time doing this in person.
Yep.
And we've probably met in person 3 times in total.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. One time in
Wow.
your hometown,
Yep.
second time in my old hometown, Calgary, and then the 3rd time today. That's about all I
Right.
believe.
Oh, Vancouver.
Then Vancouver.
Yeah,
Yep,
4,
with
yeah.
Arian.
Yep.
So 4 times.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just each of those times though, we've never actually been on a live stream together.
No,
so
we
this
haven't,
is our
no.
first time doing that.
Yep. Right on.
So we'll continue doing more work together, Crash. The Stream PC is going to go through a pretty big improvement.
Yep.
I think we're about to see some big announcements happening. NorQuest College is absolutely a part of this because Academy is alive and well at NorQuest College.
Mm-hmm.
An Academy I haven't talked about much today, but that's where the Stream PC lives right now. It's actually sold to students on campus here, and it's available in the bookstores soon. It will be available in the bookstore here soon. But yeah, that's a lot of good stuff has come from our work together, Crash. So thank you very much for being here today. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us on stream. This is Ronnie signing off from Memory Express. And we've got Crash Coic here from the Crash Coic live stream and community on Discord. So thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to be signing off and we'll see you next time.
See ya. Oh, I'll do my sign off here. Thanks for watching. And always remember the key to happiness is